Hey guys, Bridget here. In this video, we're going to talk about design systems and we're going to focus on what are the very core essential elements to add in each and every design system, no matter how large or small it is. So we're going to look at this very simple design system and not at the more complex ones, which we've previously seen on the channel, and specifically because we wanted to simply focus on the core elements, and this is by no means a design system that I implemented. It's just for showcasing purposes, but overall you can see that we have the basic essential elements. So the first one is going to be the color styles. Now most brands are going to have primary color, of course, and then maybe a secondary, and then a tertiary color, which they're going to use throughout the brand, with the core focus being on the primary or even the secondary color. So one thing that I always like to do, regardless of the size of the design system, is not to have a single color for the primary, secondary, and tertiary, because there's going to be a lot of instances where you need shades of that color. This might be for accessibility purposes if you're building an app, or for marketing reasons. So this is one of the structure which I always really like using, which is essentially creating the different tones and shades, or shades for the actual main color. And there are a lot of tools online which enable you to create perfect shades for free, in the sense that you can simply Google shades generator and you're going to find plenty of free generators. So you simply add the primary color, you select how many shades you want. So for example, if you want 8 shades or 10 shades, and it's going to create the shades with mathematical precision. So you don't need to basically guess and for example, go on Figma and do things like this for each and every shade and kind of like guess your way through them. So this is the approach that you should use when creating shades. And then I do that for pretty much all of the main colors, secondary, and then in this case, more than tertiary, we have the dark tone, which is going to be quite often utilized in most projects. And the dark tone can then be used for all sorts of different things, even for the strokes. I can utilize this color, for example. So this is going to be really beneficial for UI design purposes. Another element which I don't see very often is the UI states. So most of the times design systems focus on these main colors, but it's actually really important to include also the UI states. And you can go and create the shades also of the UI states themselves. In this case, we kept it simple. So we simply have the success state, warning state, error state, and disable state. But then you can go and create the shades, which is a good practice in my opinion, but with the core focus being at the very least having the main colors. On top of that, you might want to include the shadows, which are going to help to maintain a consistency with the shadows. The very last thing that you want to do is to create custom shadows and have different shadows for each and every one of your components. So this is actually a nice addition. Doesn't technically rely on or fall under the realm of color styles, but we could kind of like sneak them in and basically consider it as well. Now, when it comes to the typography, here it's going to open a chapter, in the sense that this is going to really depend if you have a website design project or if you have web apps, because the typography, of course, needs are going to change. In this case, we just assumed that we're working on a website project. So of course, we're going to need all of the header 1 all the way to header 6. Paragraphs, I always like to have at bare minimum 2 paragraph sizes, so either small or large, medium, and also some label sizes. And then, of course, you're going to add more of um, these text styles based on the specific needs. You're going to have emphasis, you're going to have all sorts of different requirements. Links, definitely a big one that you want to include. And yeah, that pretty much covers it for typography. When it comes to then web apps, you're going to need to decide which are the most common textiles that you're going to utilize, and then you can adjust and add it from there. Then iconography. This one is super important. You want to have an area or actually focus on one single icon library for consistency. And I talked about icon libraries very extensively in previous videos. And I guide you through all of the different criterias to select an icon set which is solid and which is going to work in the long term, because a lot of the times you find these icon sets which look really nice but they have all sorts of different issues which most designers, especially junior designers, don't foresee because they don't have the experience yet to see some of those issues. So I highly recommend you to check out some of the other videos, because that is an entire topic in and of itself. Just to keep things simple, with when it comes to icon libraries, always select an icon library which is quite extensive, which is easy to integrate. SVG, of course, it's 2025. We cannot really consider using PNG. And yeah, for the very most part, that would cover the iconography part. I think it's self-explanatory. Then we have the logo and lettermark. We always want to have a component of the main logo and lettermark so that you can, if you ever need to redesign it, you can go ahead, update it here in the main design system, and then this is going to essentially update throughout all of the instances in all of the Figma files that you have while working on that company. So regardless if it's web design file, if it's a web app project, if it's a marketing material, that is definitely a must-have in any design system. And the very last but not least is the UI components, which again, you want to keep things simple at first. I see many designers focusing and trying to create this super large UI component design system for their clients, which is totally fine if you reach that level where that is become a necessity. But I always say UI components in the design system are going to be a living and breathing element, while things like, you know, color styles and typography styles, iconography are pretty much going to be set together with the logos. UI components, you're going to constantly update the library of UI components. I mean, also at the company I'm working with, we are updating them on a weekly basis, and it's never going to stop pretty much. So take it with very take it step by step when it comes to the UI component. Start with the basics like buttons in the different styles, input fields, drop downs, those kind of things. And then you're going to build it up along the way. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions regarding design systems, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I'll try my best to answer them. And if you want to learn more about UI UX design, I have over 900 videos entirely for free on my channel. So feel free to check them out. I'll see you in the next one.